Hello and welcome to this rather extended app walkthrough. Why extended? Because there is a lot to see and there's a lot to learn. But once you have gone through this walkthrough, you'll know exactly what this app is capable of, and that is a lot. So for the next 40 odd minutes, please enjoy what I have compiled here for you. I hope you like it. It was certainly a great pleasure creating all those features and functions for you so that you get to know yourself better, that you get to know other people better, and that you are capable of creating harmony and enjoyment at every level of your life. Thank you very much and enjoy this walkthrough. Once you have added yourself as the default contact, the contacts page is being shown here with the drop-down and the available and activated contacts. At startup, you don't see this, but you see a message that prompts you to enter the first contact, and that should be yourself, and that is being done on the settings page. So this page just allows you to choose from either yourself or the number of contacts that you have activated, and they could be here contacts from the phone, or there could be here contacts from the local contacts that are not phone contacts. That has been added in a later version because people were complaining about the app asking for contact permission, even though these contacts are only used inside the app and only for analysis purposes. But now you can add contacts inside the app without them being phone contacts. And this is the screen that you see at startup, unless you have loaded startup activated, in which case if you restart the app, you will see that it then loads that default contact at startup and does not go to the contacts page, but starts with the home page. And at the bottom, you see the current version and that it was made with love in Cape Town, South Africa, and Lüchow Wendland in Germany. And in case of doubt, there's something at the top right where you can read about that particular section and then have a quick glance what it's all about. But follow the other videos in this series and you'll be pleased and well informed how the app operates and what it offers. Loaded startup activated or not, the second icon here from the left is our home screen, and that shows us the selected or pre-selected contact. And on the home screen, we notice immediately that there are some arrows here pointing to the left, right, and to the left, and there's a date indicator here. And there you can go to tomorrow's date and the day after ad infinitum. You can also go back ad infinitum and see what your day card is. And in this case, the person has passed into previous period, which means also a different period card. And that is shown or indicated by a green outline. If you reset this, goes back to the current day, the current period, and today's day card. That's what that is about. Then at the top left, we've got the zodiac sign, which is clickable. All of the elements on the screen, well, almost all of the elements are clickable and lead you to different sections of the application. So if you click on zodiac, then you jump to the life analysis. If you click to planetary ruler, then you'll be presented with the planetary ruler of that particular birth date. Just as much, all the analysis, everything available, just not for the birth card, the 5 of diamonds, but the Jack of clubs. Not clickable are the past and the remaining, not yet. So I've got some ideas about this, but not yet implemented. But here you can see, okay, this person is 3 days into its new period, into its Uranus period, and has another 48 days remaining. 48 plus 3 is 51. We are calculating in 52-day periods, and that's today's date. So 48 plus 3 plus 1 is 52. that makes it complete. Next period starts on August 13th. It's clickable. The drawer opens and shows you where it is, what card it is, just as a quick or at a quick glance. Click on it and closes again. Planetary period currently in Uranus or Uranus, whichever pronunciation you prefer, also clickable, and it gets you to the annual analysis. Click on the year or the planetary year and it gets you to the annual card. Swipe up, you get to the next contact. Swipe down, you get to the previous contact. Swipe left, you get to the next section. Swipe right, you get to the previous section. Beautiful. Let's have a look at the day card and the year card because they hide some rather nice little thingies. For instance, we've got the constellation music for all the premium and VIP customers. We see quick information about what the day for Queen of Clubs or with the Queen of Clubs day card looks like. We see the two karma cards, the one that the Queen of Clubs displaces in the natural spread and by whom or by which card it is displaced in the natural spread. And we see an affirmation, a reminder, suggestion, and then we have at the bottom also a preview. So today is the Queen of Clubs on the 25th of June, and then the following days you can see this. The weekends are highlighted as this week starts on a Sunday. The first column and the last column are slightly sort of not highlighted, but sort of raised. So you see which are days and which are weekends. And then you can see, okay, I want to see the next 4 weeks. And then it starts with the Queen of Clubs on the 25th, and it shows the next 4 weeks, just in case you want to go on holiday and you want to suss this out. So this is a nice little thingy. If we go back and then sort of click on the year card, also, I think it's only in the VIP version, I have to check this, you can click on the year card, and then it shows you the annual cards in a 13-year cycle. So the first 7 here are obviously your 7 planetary cards. And for the 5 of diamonds, it's the Queen of Spades, Jack of Clubs, basically all the cards on the Uranus line. So those are the life cards, planetary cards for the for the 5 of diamonds. And here they are for the Jack of Clubs planetary ruler. Then you can check. This is a rather old person, so you have to scroll down a bit, but you can see, okay, it's now in the 59th year. It's got an 8 of diamonds as a year card and a Queen of Spades as a planetary ruler's long range or year card, right? 8 of diamonds, remember? That's right there, 8 of diamonds. And if we went back to the home and clicked on the planetary ruler, let's see what happens here. Queen of Spades. Click on it. Queen of Spades, Queen of Spades. Well, this is interesting because now we'd actually take this card as a birth card rather than a planetary ruler card, and that's why those 2 columns are identical. That's something I still need to fix because in this case, I can actually hide this second column. But you see, sort of which year. So if you analyze someone and you want to look back a couple of years and want to see what kind of long-range card constellation they have, then you can do that exactly on this page. Just scroll back, or maybe something special was when this person was like 22 and went to 23. King of Hearts, 88, 89, 5 of Hearts, 9 of Hearts. Just want to just use this for analysis purposes. That's what the click on that offers for all the years up until all the quadrations are complete. So you can see at a glance which year cards are coming up in the next couple of years for the birth card and the planetary ruler, and that is magnificent. So this concludes our description or explanation of the card. Obviously you can click on this one as well, and then the main card, the birth card, and then we get to the life analysis details section. Anything I've forgotten? No, not really. Except that when you swipe too hard, it jumps to the next contact quite nice. Without having to access the contact page, you can just go from one to the next. And thank you very much for paying attention. Oh, there's someone new, born this year as a King of Diamonds. That's my daughter, or our daughter rather. Little bit of personal information for your entertainment pleasures. So next section is going to be the spread section, and you'll see that in the next video. The next icon to the right is the spread screen, and that shows you the spread of that current age. And at the top you see a number of icons. The left arrow and the right arrow are only available for VIP customers because they can navigate through all the spreads. Premium customers and free customers only see the current spread and its interpretation and have to wait until 2 weeks prior to their next birthday before they can navigate to the new spread. Underneath, also in Premium and VIP, we've got the horizontal cards, but we can also show the vertical cards for the 5 of diamonds or the diagonal cards. They carry different interpretations. Here, diagonal cards, mutual connections this year, and vertical cards, who or what is connected to the subject of the horizontal card or direct card. We also see here that we have a number of highlighted cards. That one with the red outline is the card that the 5 of diamonds is displacing this year, because in the mundane spread, this 3 of spades sits in this position. And at the same time, we can't see this here, but the 8 of spades would be highlighted in green, because that is the original place in the mundane spread for the 5 of diamonds. And then we've got a year card, which is the 8 of diamonds, and you remember that from the home screen. What you can do is you can click on any card, and then underneath in the Premium and VIP version, you get additional information. You get a short description in the free version, but that's beautiful for getting a quick intro of the card at hand. You can click here on the title, and then that disappears once again. And that concludes the display of the distribution. You see in the distribution, everything stays the same, the patterns stay the same, the cards just move according to the quadrational process. And it's beautiful to see, to have a quick overview rather than having the cards in line. You have a quick overview in actually which planetary position, in this case Saturn line, Jupiter column, any given card here, the 5 of diamonds, finds itself in. And then you can, with a little bit of astrological background knowledge, then obviously you can arrive at a conclusion what it means to be the Jupiter card on the Saturn line, to have a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in this year. Then you also see the little icons here: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and the results card. So at a glance, you see the most important cards for the 7 periods, and then the cards like Pluto, results, and the karma cards, and the annual or long-range cards, the most important cards with an annual influence rather than with a 52-day influence like the planets have. That concludes our little introduction to the spreads, and we'll continue with the next one. Obviously, any of those buttons here on the distribution page can be clicked. Here we've got the sun sign that brings us back to our solar spread, the natural spread where everything is beautiful and in order. 7 rows, 7 columns, 3 cards in the crown line. Here the earth icon brings us to the earthly spread, same distribution, same setup, but obviously now the cards have shifted according to the process of quadration. So there are some differences that you notice straight away because all the cards are mixed, but if you click back and forth, pay attention to the King of Spades, the Jack of Hearts, and the Eight of Clubs, because they never change from distribution to distribution. Those are 3 fixed cards. Here also the 2 semi-fixed cards, Two of Hearts, Ace of Clubs, and the 9 of Hearts and the 7 of Diamonds. Mundane spread, swapped or switched position here, 7 of Diamonds, 9 of Hearts, and the other pair, Ace of Clubs and 2 of Hearts. They'll never be anywhere else, and these fixed cards will always stay where they are. That makes them rather fixed in nature. This is your birth spread, which is exactly the same, only that sort of the unimportant cards have been dimmed, and now it's the 5 of Diamonds, and as the 5 of Diamonds is the last card, the Neptune card on the Saturn line, all its planetary cards are on the Uranus line. Very easy to read off here. And then the Pluto card and the results card have jumped onto the Neptune line, or are to be found on the Neptune line. 5 of Diamonds, actually rather special card. It's the only card in the entire deck that has 4 court cards, one in Mercury and Venus, and the other one in Uranus and Neptune. So maybe that's needed to be the case for me to write this application. And then you can jump to the current year for the distribution, but if you're a VIP customer, then you can go to any distribution you like. The beautiful thing is this: if you now click on your annual analysis, watch this, the person is 55 years old. That was in 2022, and there's constellation music for that too. If I go and now go to maybe 60, where we have a Jack of Spades as a Mercury card, go to our annual analysis, and there we have our Jack of Spades in Mercury, and it takes a little while for the music to load, but there it is. And once again, the year is now 2026. Right? Because that's when that person turns 60. So the text in the background for the periods changes as you navigate through the spread. You have to pay some attention to it, because if you go to the home page, you should see some cards dimmed. I don't know why you don't see them dimmed now, because technically they should be dimmed. Let me see. There's a King of Clubs in Uranus, which is not, the current one is not the case. I have to check why they aren't dimmed, because they should be dimmed, because those cards don't apply. In this case, because in the spread we are on another spread and not the current one. On the current one, there we've got the 8 of Diamonds, King of Clubs, Queen of Clubs, but obviously if we jump back or go forward a year, then there's a 3 of Hearts year, and this is obviously not applicable, so I have to check whether in the code it doesn't dim it anymore, because it used to do that. But now just pay attention if you're on VIP, and if you go through the spreads, that sort of they may well be reflected on the home screen, because in the background everything is connected. And you see, like current, it also, so resets it and sets the reset back. If I go 2 years or 3 years up and go to the home screen, then obviously I'm in a different year. This hasn't changed. They should be dimmed. I'll fix that, and then reset date brings us back to the current date. Thank you very much for paying attention to this little addendum to the spreads page. The fourth icon from the left brings us to our annual analysis. And once again, we have a look from the top down. We see the planetary buttons here. We are in the Uranus period at the moment, and that's why it's highlighted. Every year you go through those 7 planetary periods of 52 days each. Underneath, you've got the cards with an annual influence. In this case, it's Pluto, your challenge, or your environment or support card. In this case, it's a King of Clubs in Uranus, lasting from June 22nd until August 12th. And here, because we've got a premium or VIP subscription or plan, you can see the constellation music. You can play the music. You can pause it and you can reset it. Underneath, you find the interpretation for this current period. In the free version, you get the first paragraph. In a premium or VIP, you get the second paragraph as well as suggestions for activities. It's a King of Diamonds period, and underneath you see the two karma cards, which means the card that the King of Diamonds, a King of Clubs displaces in the natural spread, and the card, the Eight of Spades, is the card that displaces the King of Clubs in the natural spread. And that's all for this, except for the bottom icon. You can share this information because you can call up a different contact, and then you can share this on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on Signal or email or any item or application that accepts sharing information. And that concludes our little walkthrough through the annual analysis. The fifth icon in our icon row is the one with the heart, and that leads us to the life analysis. So anything prior was short term, year or shorter, and this now relates to the actual birth card. You can see there's a summary of the Five of Diamonds with all the positive and negative traits. There's a synthesis, which is only available to VIP customers. And there you can see that, a little bit of a summary or synthesis of the Five of Diamonds. Lovely reading, quick overview of any given card gives you some nice insight. Then there's a detail, and that information comes from the book Sacred Symbols of the Ancients from Edith Randall and Florence Campbell about the card, the Five, and the Five of Diamonds. Once again, very valuable information here about any given card. And then we've got some zodiac information, the date, the element, the category, the planetary ruler, the quality, and the description. This information comes from Charles Harnell's A Book About You. And that is all for the life analysis. But don't take it too easy, because there's a wealth of information that you'll find on those 4 pages, and very, very valuable information about any given person stroke contact. The 6th icon shows a little calendar with a spade sign in there, and that brings us to our birth card calendar. That's just for a quick look up. If you are looking for a specific birthday and you want to know, without having to calculate it in your head, you want to know which card that is. So here on the 25th of June, we have a Five of Clubs as a day card. The drop-down gives you access to any months of the year. You just click on it, and then there it is. You notice here that the week starts on the Sunday. That's something that can be set in the settings. And if you set this to Monday, then obviously sort of the week starts on a Monday. And that's really, for now, all there is to this birth card calendar. The next section on our bottom menu is our relationships card. And there it starts with selecting 2 people in order to get another 5 buttons with further analysis feature: primary, birth, current, AI analysis, and name card. In the premium and VIP version, you not only get a primary analysis, but you also get a birth analysis, a current analysis, an AI analysis, and a name card analysis. So here we've got H and V, and we see the matrix highlighted with colors. The green ones are the more easy ones compared to the yellow and the red ones. So here we have the birth card, the planetary ruler, the first karma card of the birth card, the second karma card of the birth card, the first karma card of the planetary ruler, and the second karma card of the planetary ruler. The columns are occupied by the first one, that's H in this case, pointing down, and the rows pointing sideways are occupied by or allocated to the second person, that is V in this case. And here we can see they actually have a Venus connection here in the spiritual spread reverse, because that is the connection between the Jack of Clubs, planetary ruler for this birthday, and the Nine of Clubs birth card for this birthday. So here you can see at a glance how that relationship looks like, if it's more red, if it's more green, and here we've got a lovely blend of everything in here. The important ones are the 4 quadrants here at the top left, because they are the strongest ones, because they show the relationship between the birth card and the planetary ruler, and the planetary ruler and the planetary ruler, and etc., etc. So those are the 4 quadrants. And then the next ones are the first 2 columns and the first 2 rows, because once again they relate to the birth card and the planetary ruler, and the birth card and the planetary ruler. So there's one here in white that is shown here, and the other one in that other lovely, slightly what's that? Not purplish, dark purple color. I don't know what name you would give it. And there you see the other connections, and you can click on them, and then you get a brief introduction to that particular connection. But that also leaves a lot up for your own interpretation, but I wanted to show this at a glance and color code it so that you can see what that relationship looks like when we look at the birth cards and the planetary ruler cards and their respective karma cards. The next section under relationships is our birth analysis. And here you see 2 people, once again, 5 of diamonds birth card, 9 of clubs birth card, and they've got a composite life card with the ace of hearts. And they're giving or providing some nice analysis once again about what it means to have that ace of hearts as a life card. Core meaning, relationship interpretation, strength, challenges, and guidance. And once again at the bottom, we've got the lovely matrix again. This time we've got a couple more fields, because now we're not looking at the birth cards and the planetary ruler and their respective karma cards, but we're looking at the planetary cards. And the direct planetary cards are shown diagonally with those highlighted boxes here, you know, Mars, Mercury to Mercury, Venus to Venus, Mars to Mars, Jupiter to Jupiter. So at a glance, you can see how those personal cards are planetary cards are aspected, but you can also see how, for instance, V's Mercury card is aspected to H's Jupiter card, which is a Venus connection, etc., etc. This is a bit of a rabbit hole, quite interesting, and leads to lots of options for interpretation and deepening of your knowledge of cardology. But for now, just look at that if there's anything in the direct cards, but some connections may be even far more meaningful, you know, how someone's mind operates to someone's expansion. And that I'm not even going to touch, because really that is a rabbit hole of note. And that concludes our little analysis of the birth card. The next section on the relationships page is the one called current. And that means that currently H, which has a 5 of diamonds birth card, is in a King of Clubs in Uranus period, while V has a 9 of Clubs birth card, and is in an 8 of Spades in Saturn, shown with the respective period dates behind it on the right. Their composite card only lasts for 38 days, only is good, that's quite a long period, and is currently an 8 of clubs. And once again, core meaning, relationship interpretation, strength, challenges, guidance, and then some information about the planetary conjunction, as well as once again another matrix, but this matrix is fat, as you can see. And here you can see where they are right now, because H is in Uranus while V is in Saturn, and there is no particular energy flowing between the two of them in terms of their planets. So they are too far away in order to have any kind of conjunction. Then when, for instance, H moves into his Neptune period, then there would be a Venus period before V moves into the Uranus period, and then that would be a Neptune reverse and a Uranus conjunction. So here you can see the energies between two people at any given time. That is very, very, very useful and helpful. AI analysis. Now here, the first name, date of birth, birth card, planetary ruler, first and second karma cards of both birth card and planetary ruler of both people are being sent to the AI for analysis. Once again, a premium feature that takes a moment because it needs to compile this information, it needs to send it to the AI needs to process it, and then needs to massage it into a nice and formatted report. So this message greets you, and a couple of seconds later, there is a complete AI generated analysis of that particular relationship, taking into account all the cards of person 1 and all the cards or the pertinent cards of person 2. So also, once again, something very valuable. Here, a little bit worrying that the 4 is not being shown. I don't know what happened here. It's the first time that I see this. But once again, you know, so when we talk about technology, sometimes things fail. The fifth and last section on the relationships page is called name card. Here, as we have anonymized the contact names, it's not particularly useful, but if we turn this into Harry, and not D but Bella Fonte, and turn V into Vicky, Antonia Cordova, then we see that there's a 7 of spades name card with a solar value of 46, and here we've got an ace of spades with a solar value of 40, and their composite card is an 8 of diamonds, once again with a core meaning, relationship interpretation, strength and challenges, guidance, etc. So also, and once again, very useful to have this information available. So here you can, without having to have anyone in your contacts database, either on the phone or on your local contacts, you can just enter any given name and see how they relate to each other. And that concludes our analysis for this. Obviously, you know, sort of you've got the drop down here. So if you want to switch to someone else, you see immediately that all this changes. And obviously the other one or the other sections change as well on the fly. Very useful, very, very useful in helping you understand other people, helping you understand the dynamics between two people, either from the birth cards point of view or from their current conjunction. So enjoy. From the relationship section, we click on the next icon, and that shows us the notifications. In other words, who of our contacts are activated and then once again activated, because you have to activate them to make them available to the app, and then you have to check them if you want them to be included as part of the notifications feature. There you see 3 people, and today we can see KB on the 25th of June enters into Jupiter, has a 5 of spades, and hence the badge with a highlight here at the bottom, which obviously disappears as you click on the section. So here you, at a brief glance, you can see within the next 30 days, this setting can be changed to 30 days to any day you like between 1 and 52. The following of your selected contacts will go through a period change. So at a glance, you can see, all right, for this person, it's now a 5 of spades in Jupiter, and for the other one is a 6 of hearts in Saturn, but only tomorrow. And then sort of AH changes into Neptune with the Queen of Hearts on July 8th. This is what this section is about. And soon they will be clickable, so you can call up those contacts right from that screen. That feature is not yet implemented though. The next section then, once again, one with a badge, unread messages, and that's our news section. So here we see the latest news, all the new releases or YouTube videos that you'll find on this page. Very simple and very straightforward. Not really anything else that needs to be added. From the news section, we get to the next icon in our icon bar, that is the section settings. And here you can see the current version. You can click and check for updates, in-app updates that are not associated with the store updates, neither on the App Store nor on the Play Store. This is a third method or an alternative method to get access to the latest version. Synchronizes it, and then it says update available, yes or no, and you can get it or download it. In this case, I say no. Otherwise, the app would download it, install it, and restart. Here are your details. Load at startup means if you load the app, then this contact will be loaded by default and the home screen shown. The Champions initiative is completely optional, and that gives you an ID that is being appended to the sacredsymbols.app URL when you share contact. And this is obviously logged, and then we can see who shared how many times, and there will be a reward system linked to that later on. But first, it is just for provision to see how many people are really actively sharing and would like to get rewarded at some point. Then the language. You can switch between English, German, French, and Spanish. That happens on the fly. But for the sake of this demonstration, we go back to English. Once again, the week starts on Sunday. We can set it to Monday if we desire. The calendar shows the birth week because any person has a specific day they were born on. So if it shows the birth week that for someone born on a Tuesday, then that week starts on a Tuesday and goes until Monday. That's what this checkbox is there for. We've got a number of designs. By default, it's the Sacred Symbols design, but there's a light one. There's a black and white one. There's a more monochrome one. There is a spring one. Oh, there are a couple of lovely ones. And then we've got a tagine for Northern Africa. We've got a salsa for South America. We've got a bourbourti for South Africa. We've got a borscht for Russia. And we've got a funky one for those who love that. And then a couple of others, subtle variations, winter, sort of autumn. So if you desire to use those, you are most welcome to do so. I prefer the Sacred Symbols one. Here the notifications preview, as mentioned before, 30 days, but you can set this to anything between 1 and 52. Now the contacts. By default, the app accesses the contacts already on the phone and makes those available to the app. But just because they're available doesn't mean that they need to be active. So you can deactivate them here, and then they will disappear from the drop-down. Okay, we go back to the settings and add DT, go to the contacts, and there is DT active there on the fly. Beautiful. works seamlessly. Then you see some with an icon here, with a little edit icon, and those are local contacts. So they're not on the phone or on the device, but they are local. And here we've got them, and they are shown in clear names, but we've anonymized them here. So you saw the Marie in English, and you can choose a language for each contact, and I can set AH back to Spanish. That's done on the fly, or KB I can set to Deutsch. That's done on the fly. And here in the rightmost column, it says notify as a header. There you decide which of those active contacts. You see the inactive contacts are not even available for notification, but these ones can be added or excluded from the period notification changes, as we have seen here. And that concludes our little settings section. From the settings, one to the right, we come to the payments one. And here it shows the, well, it says premium features. It shows the offers that are available. And we right now have a premium subscription. The price may change, go up, because so much has changed over the last couple of weeks and months that that I find not worth, well, actually not, it doesn't reflect the price that I'm currently asking for. $199 per month, $19.99 per year, $79.99 as a one-time payment, or $179.99 for a VIP version, which I have activated for myself in this instance on this emulator. Under Restore, you have to sign in because we're on an iPad. You would have to be connected to your Apple account, but it still shows those transactions. And you see I've got a 6 months promo that I've given myself in order to test this. And the status is VIP, and there we have this lovely, lovely animation once again, and the golden flash for premium customers. So this is it for the premium features. For the payment, here you've got the buttons to buy those things either via the App Store or the Google Play Store. And I hope you make good use of that, because you see how useful the app is and what it offers already in the free version, never mind the premium and the VIP version. And there is not much to see here in terms of the system as such. It just explains the system, where it comes from, a little bit of an introduction if you're totally new, you know, how this system works, some highlighted words, yearly changes and the spreads, and what's next for you, licenses, a little bit about myself and the permissions and the privacy. So this is it, the walkthrough through the Sacred Symbols app, as developed here by myself, Helmar Rudolph. Thank you very much for paying attention, and please refer to any of the other sections as you deem fit. And if you have any additional questions, please go to sacredsymbols.app and then let me know how I can help you.